So, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you very much to our next lecture, Scientific Presentations in Biology. So this time we would like to deal with beautiful evolution, and I can tell you in advance, these are so many words that we don't manage. So I will select the most important ones. But before just starting with evolution, let's have a look on scientific presentations in general. So, you remember that last time we were thinking on taking a person, and we were thinking what to say. So we decided that you have to keep calm, and you may just say something like that. First, I'd like to examine the argument that, or I'm glad you brought this up, but I still feel, or I still maintain that. So, let's continue. What can you say if someone is attacking you and you are standing in front and you have to say something? Despite of or in spite of, and you tell something it's important to you. I don't think it's a valid argument to say that. Or, I think it may be going too far to say that, and you may respond to the attacking. So, with that, I would like to stop at that point, and I would like to deal with evolution. And I was telling in advance that we have a lot of vocabulary. So, let's start with that, and I would just suggest that I read both the English and the German translation. So, human means human oder menschlich. Evolution, belonging to evolution, means evolution. Food ist die Nahrung oder Kost. Food source, die Nahrungsquelle. And very important in evolution is hominid, hominiden. Adaptation, die Anpassung. Meat, das Fleisch. Fruit, Frucht. The next one definitely belongs to evolution, means fallback food, Ausweichnahrung, oder prolonged, anhaltend oder andauernd, and drought, die Trockenheit. So, let's continue. Analysis or analysis means Analyse oder Analysen. Value ist der Wert. Dental, Zahn in irgendeinem Zusammenhang. Animal, der Schmelz, explizit der Zahnschmelz. Ancestor, Vorfahren. And we know plant from other lectures, Pflanze. Species, die Spezies oder Art, we know that as well. C3 photosynthesis means C3 photosynthese. C4 photosynthesis, C4 photosynthese. Carbon ist auf Deutsch der Kohlenstoff. Very important is isotop. Hominid, we were talking on that. Hominidae oder auch Menschenaffen. Both is possible. Hominid. So, let's continue with that. Apart from this is fossil of a wasp and of a bee. So let's continue with the vocabulary. Diet ist die Kost oder auch Ernährung. Tropical, tropisch. Grass, das Gras. Sedge, die Segge oder auch das Seegas. And very important is Fossil, das Fossil. Australopithecus means Australopithecus in English. Trophic means trophisch oder Ernährung im Zusammenhang. Vegetation, Vegetation. Dentition, Dentition oder Zahnausstattung. Masticatory means in German mastigatorisch, kennen Sie gerade jetzt auch nicht, kauen im Zusammenhang. Chimpanzee, Schimpanse. Baboon is der Pavian, belong to Zoology, but we need this in evolution. To feed on, sich ernähren von. Ecological, ökologisch, oder analogy means Analogie. So, with that, we would like to start our very interesting text, and it's going on hominids, on hominiden. So, what's the headline? Human evolution and preferred food source. So, let's start reading. And I tell you in the beginning, it is very interesting. A critical limiting factor in hominid evolution was the adaptation to meat and a wide range of food as the preferred food, but also the choice and use of fulvic foods during critical periods such as prolonged drought. Let's continue with that. Recent research into the animals of delta 13C values in the dental enamel of early human ancestors, such as Australopithecus, Africanus, and Paranthropus robustus. Plant species that perform either C3 photosynthesis or C4 photosynthesis show a different accumulation of delta 13C. Accordingly, by measurements of stable carbon isotope values in the animal, the food that was consumed by early hominids might be evaluated. So, very interesting. And you realize blues means that is unknown, or this might be so important that I was highlighting this. So let's read the blue ones. Human means human or menschlich. Evolution, Evolution. Food ist die Nahrung oder die Kost. Food source, die Nahrungsquelle. And we have hominid, Hominiden, at that point. Adaptation, die Anpassung. Meat, das Fleisch. Fruit, Frucht. Vollbegeführte ist die Ausrechnung. Prolonged was anhaltend oder andauernd. And drought, die Trockenheit. And once more the beautiful wisp. That's a fossil belonging to evolution, and you see a wonderful butterfly over there. So, a lot of vocabulary. In the text we had analysis or analysis, Analysen oder Analyse. We had value, Wert, dental, Zahn im Zusammenhang. We learned something on animal, means in that context Zahnschmelz. We learned something on ancestor, Vorfahren, and we were reading something on plant, on Pflanze. We learned something on species, Spezies oder Art. We read something on C3 photosynthesis, C3 photosynthese, and C4 photosynthesis, C4 photosynthese. Carbon war der Kohlenstoff and isotope, das Isotop. Let's continue with the very, very interesting text. So, I will read this. As a result of these studies, the diet of hominids includes the four sources, such as tropical grasses and sedges, or the meat of animals, which themselves consume C4 plants. Based on analysis of hominid fossils, it is now accepted that Australopithecus showed a high trophic flexibility and consumed approximately 35% C4 vegetation in their diet. So, and sensory, for a better understanding of the evolution of hominids from the last common ancestor shared with present-day species, dentition and masticatory features were compared both in fossils and in modern chimpanzees and baboons. So, that's of course very interesting, and we have to read that. So, what we've learned: diet, Kost oder Ernährung, tropical, tropisch, grass, Gras. We learned something on sedge, in German, Säge oder Riedgas. We learned something on fossil, fossil. Australopithecus is in German, or Latin rather, Australopithecus. Trophic means trophisch oder auch Ernährung in Zusammenhang. Vegetation ist die Vegetation. Very important is dentition, Dentition, Ausstattung mit Zähnen. and masticator, masticatorisch, kauen and sagen. And we learned something on chimpanzee, Schimpanse, and baboon, der Pavian. So, let's interrupt that, and it's a lot of exercise we have to read and deal with. Lesen Sie den Abschnitt Abstract bzw. Introduction des Artikels gründlich durch. Das bezieht sich auf einen längeren Artikel, den Sie finden können in Bibliotheken. Wir machen weiter mit der Exercise. Wählen Sie 15 englische Wörter aus, die für den Artikel repräsentativ sind. Das können wir bereits, aber bereiten Sie eine englische Präsentation des Artikels vor? Können wir eigentlich auch. 15 Sätze, wir machen ein bisschen weniger, schätze ich mal. Und dafür verwenden Schlüsselworte. Okay. Lesen Sie den Originalartikel noch einmal gründlich durch und bereiten Sie die Präsentation vor, ohne noch einmal den Originaltext anzusehen, aus dem Kopf also. Üben Sie die Wiedergabe auf Englisch und neu diskutieren Sie den Bericht. So, wir haben ein bisschen zu tun. Als erstes lesen wir. As a result of these studies, the diet of hominids includes the four sources, such as tropical grasses and sedges, on the meat of animals, which themselves consume the four plants. This is familiar to us. Based on analysis of hominid fossils, it is now accepted that Australopiths showed a high trophic ability and consumed approximately 35% C4 vegetation in their diet. For a better understanding of the evolution of hominids from the past common ancestor shared with present-day species, dentition and masticatory features were compared both in fossils and in modern chimpanzees and baboons. So, wenn wir den Text anschauen, sehen wir blau, aber diesmal sind es Keywords. Was wollen wir berücksichtigen? Diet of hominids, very important, sehen Sie hier. Wir haben C4 sources ausgewählt, tropical grasses, gefolgt von animals, very important, Australopiths. So, C4 vegetation. Another keyword is dentition, masticatory features, and chimpanzees and baboons. So, our keywords are coming here. I read this once more. Diet of hominids, C4 sources, tropical grasses, animals, Australopiths. Other keywords are C4 vegetation, dentition, masticatory features in chimpanzees and baboons. So we are asked to give a summary but we should not look at the original text. So the text is going on diet of hominids, and we learned that the diet includes the four sources. These four sources are tropical grasses or sedges, and the diet may include the grasses or sedges, or it may include animals that were feeding on the tropical grasses and sedges. So we learned in text that it's going on australopiths that were eating on the raw vegetation. This is due to their dentition. Explicitly, we learned this from the animal and the muscular features. And we see a lot of relations to chimpanzees and baboons. So, this is the one part, and the second is we have to discuss this. So, discussing means you sit in the audience and you ask something. You may ask could you please explain the diet of hominids in itself? You may ask for which four sources belong to the diet of hominids. Could you give us examples of tropical grasses and sedges? Could you explain the animals that are feeding on tropical grasses in more detail? We learned something on dentition, and you may ask, could you please explain the dentition in more detail? And this is due to muscular features as well. Could you explain the muscular features of early hominids in more detail? And you may ask something on chimpanzees and baboons. Could you explain the relationship of hominids and chimpanzees and baboons in more detail? So this is something on vocabulary and discussing. And you were already looking at that, and I think I read this. Carbon isotope data for baboons showed trophic viability and the tendency to consume C4 plant sources. In contrast, chimpanzees consume little C4 vegetation and animals that feed on C4 plants. These data indicate that baboons show more ecological analogy with australopiths than chimpanzees. A main difference in the evolution of hominids and the last common ancestor shared with chimpanzees might be the adaptation to C4 vegetation as warming food. So, and you see a chimpanzee and a baboon for illustration over there. So these includes not so many words. To feed on means sich ernähren von, ecological, ökologisch, and analogy is in German Analogie. So, not so many words, but I think we have to learn a lot to be able to talk on evolution. And I think I will read that. Storage means in German Speicher in Zusammenhang. Implication, Auswirkung oder auch Bedeutung. Dietary means Ernährungs in Zusammenhang. Ancestor, we learned that already. Vorfahr and value, der Wert. Animal is familiar to us, zum Beispiel Animals. Tissue, das Gewebe. Inference, die Schlussfolgerung. Very important is invigorate, stärken. And we have to keep in mind bulbous or bulb, Zwiebel, im Zusammenhang. And cornus or corn, die Knolle. So, I think we have to save that slide and learn something on that. Sedge is familiar to us, Säge oder Rikas. We don't know scarce, kaum, void, die Lücke. Tuber, die Wurzelknolle, and very important is toughness, die Härte. We have to keep in mind brittle, zum Beispiel zerbrechlich. Tough means fest oder hart. Roast, braten. Very important in evolution is hunter-gatherer, Jäger und Sammler, and to domesticate, domestizieren. So we have to continue with that. Mastication, das Kauen, kennen wir eigentlich. Digestion kennen wir nicht. Die Verdauung. Hypergears, unterirdisch. Abundance, die Häufigkeit. And very important is staple food, Grundnahrungsmittel. Lush, zum Beispiel stark oder auch sehr. Melka, Mericarp oder Teilfrucht. Beak is already showing something that's coming on. Der Schnabel, Beak. Radiation, die Ausbreitung. So, I think I'll read this once more. Mastication. We learned something on digestion. Hypergears was unterirdisch. Abundance, die Häufigkeit. Staple food, Grundnahrungsmittel. We learned something on lush, on America. We learned something on beef and radiation. For that, I would like to stop at that point. I'd say tschüss to you, and I'm looking so much forward to our next lecture on evolution. Tschüss.